everyone, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Happy Halloween. Hope you're all doing awesome. Good to see you. We're gonna play some golf with friends and do some giveaways tonight. So I hope you're ready for some golf shenanigans. I have a lovely glass of haunted wine here. So yeah. And I have my cute kitty giveaway pail. And of course I have my... You don't know who this is? This is Marin, however you say her name. This is Dookie Tan, my dress-up darling. Love the show so much. Thank you. Welcome, Lady Rain, Dash, Nico. Shane, Quiet, thank you. Welcome everyone. I finally did it. I've been putting off this cosplay for a while. But hello. Welcome, Michigan. My name is Jem. Yes. You identify as Jem now. We understand because that is who you are. That is your Halloween identity. Anybody else dress up for Halloween? Do anything crazy? Alright, phone notifications have to stop. I don't have time to play the chicken game and raise chickens. Chicken clicker. But I meet you. Hello. Alright, let me go get everybody in voice chat. Hi, Rain. I see you smirking. You smirking about chicken clicker? You're checking into chicken clicker too. It's called Egg Ink. I'm gonna play it for you guys one day on stream. Basically cookie clicker, but chickens. You know.
Yeah, I prestiged.
You're working? No! That's just scary. You prestiged? Nice, so you gotta start over? Kinda, yeah.
I'm like completely over. I'm on the edible egg.
I'm so glad I'm off of work, finally.
Right?
Work sucked.
Oh no. Momo, you had some trick-or-treaters. It was pretty uncommon here, and then I went with some friends and with kids and walked with them. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good Halloween and got to do some trick-or-treating. I'm gonna be giving away stickers and Pokemon cards and exclusive Nintendo Switch electric chair type Mimikyu codes. I have a few of those to give away. And then I have a special thing to give away at the end of the night. So 5 people in the past 2 hours. Dang, it's a slow night. My hard drive crashed. Should be fixed.
It's Halloween.
Come tomorrow. Oh, I hope you do get a fixed tank. Oh no. Yeah, it was cute to see. It's not usually here in Europe at all. We do see some houses really did a thing. That's cool. I didn't realize that Europe didn't really do Halloween things like we do. I mean, we had people like ever. Huh?
There's a house that's down the road from me that has a 10-foot tall flaming skeleton in it.
Hell
Jeez.
yeah.
Hope catch, guys.
Holy
Hope catch.
That's dedication.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween
Take it
traditions
off.
that we follow here in the U.S. are heavily based on Samhain, which is a Celtic Gaelic festival celebrating the end of harvest and the transition into winter.
Speaking of which, Rain, I posted that link to that song in DM'd you in Discord.
Heck yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I do.
And that's actually one of their songs in English too.
Oh hell yeah.
Love you. Welcome to the stream. Like. Oh, hello, David. Okay, I do ask that you guys be present for the giveaway. If you're not present, I give you 5 minutes to show up. And if not, we pass it on to someone else. Also, giveaway rules are you get 1 ticket if you put a 1 in chat. And if you're a subscriber, you get 2 tickets. Alright. Let's see. So one in chat for Momo. And I think I was able to recover all your stuff. Good, 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 good. And let's see. One in chat for Lady Rain. Lady, you're subscribers, so you get 2.
Damn right I do. Do I get 3 for being a mod too?
No, you can't cheat for being a mod. Michigan! You get 2 tickets as well because you're a subscriber. Alright, so far all the tickets here. And I'm gonna get Shane in here. Shane gets 2. I was like, did I already do Shane? I was like, wait, I did it. I'd be like, put 4 tickets in here. Shane'd be like, yes! Alright. Anybody else want to participate in this giveaway? Put a 1 in chat if you want to participate. As people come in, we will be adding people to the bucket for the giveaway. And okay, so we caught the Pokemons. Yes, you're so lucky. Got it, you got it, you got it. Okay, we're gonna start some golf with friends before I do the first drawing. So let's keep going. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to join. And here we go. You don't even know what you're joining. You're joining a giveaway for stickers and Pokemon cards and Mimikyu. Oh my gosh, Momo. Momo!
That would be definitely a Momo thing for sure.
And then there's a top secret thing at the end. So there's a top secret thing at the end of the night. So if you're sticking around that long, then you get to do one of those too. So just hang tight. I'm just like, sure, I'll join. I mean, why not, right? Why not? How you doing? Oh, I want a sticker. We'll join the raffle! Exclamation 1. I mean, not exclamation 1. Just put a 1 in chat. Why did I say exclamation 1? I don't know.
Oh, God.
Did I used to say exclamation something all the time? Oh, to play. Exclamation play. To put your marble on the track.
For marbles.
Yes. Stuck in my head. All those, I know, all those years. It's stuck in my head. Phew. Okay, you are going in the bucket. I do ask that you be present when the drawing happens to win. But other than that, right? Memories. I'm like, it's like stuck in my head now. Alright, I gotta come if I can. So many layers. I'm joking. But anyway. Alright, we're gonna start this game. We have 4 people. We're gonna start a warm-up game. You're at work right now though. Dig it! Work. That's what a joker's for. No, right? Right?
Oh god.
Hello? No, remember I told you this thing came with a leash, right? It came with a leash too. No joke. The whole costume came with a leash and everything. So yeah, it came with a leash.
That's for after hours.
That's after stream content. No, I'm just kidding. No. After stream, I will be passed out in my bed.
No,
Become a leash holder. Yeah, that's the top secret prize. You get to become a leash holder for
no,
a whole 30 seconds.
Here.
oh, never mind. I've been corrected. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Start. I do have Rainbow gummies, though. Oh, sour
Too late,
gummies.
Momo. She's mine.
Hogging Moon over.
I have your coffee cup.
Me too! Oh, the spooky coffee cup. I love it. I got my spooky coffee cup. That's so cute.
Oh.
Hmm? It's cold here. Hmm.
Supposed to get to 24 here
cold.
tonight.
It's not here. I got my AC cranked way down because of all these layers.
It's cold here.
Just say it.
It's in the 30s.
I know, I love it. It's supposed to
I
get
hate
to
it.
24 tonight. Love it all.
I fucking hate it. Monty, get out of there.
It was 80 something here today.
It was close to 80 during the day today here, but it's supposed to drop down low 30s, I think, here tonight.
Oh, are y'all catfighting over me now?
Hit pilot.
Oh, she has to type exclamation catfight at Rain, at Lady Rain. There you go.
No.
Momo won.
Damn.
That sweet uppercut.
Hi, Bloody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Halloween.
I tried cheating and it backfired.
Damn.
Are you familiar with My Dress Up Darling? And when Marin plays Suzuki Tan? Thank you, Bloody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm not even going to try to correct that pronunciation.
Shizuki.
Honorific. It's not tan.
Ton.
It's not a color.
It's Ton. Huh?
Ton.
What is it, Ton? Suzuki Ton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tan is a color.
Right? I'm an artist, so it looks like a color.
Oh, Shane!
I got like just speed boosted.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But it didn't help me.
Uppercut for sure. Short wins.
Good.
You uppercutted her to win and get the bowl of milk. It was 27 last night for you. Victims at the door. Tab is up, me lady. Good luck, good luck. Good luck with your victims. Did you dress up?
As one should.
Took me a
I
lot
like
of
when
money.
my collars cook it. There we go. I'm just gonna sit here and stare at the hole in dismay that I didn't get in. I'm surprised I'm actually eating sugar. I had so much sugar at work today. I had donuts and candy and somehow I ended up with 4 donuts in my fridge. So that means more donuts in my future.
Hell yeah.
No.
Don't judge me, guys. I know you're sitting here.
I looked the other way. I didn't see anything. Ma'am, I didn't see anything. Who are we this year? Suzuki-tan? From My Dress Up Darling? When Marin plays her?
Time. Oh my god.
Have you seen Dress Up Darling? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's very cute.
Well, I had a chance to win and now I don't.
It's golf. Always trying to turn things around.
Cheers, guys. We're drinking.
Cheers.
That just means I need you to mess up, Shane.
Spoopy wine.
Cheer wine.
Ooh. Cheerwine counts.
I haven't had Cheerwine in a long time.
I haven't watched it yet, but it was at the top of my list. Nice. Lost a list. Yep, you lost your list. That's a problem. Words are hard. Indeed, the words are hard to email in chat. Also, if you were joining and would like to be part of the giveaway, put a 1 in chat. Put a 1 in chat for your chance to win stickers, Pokemon cards, Mimikyu, Electric Tier type code for Switch players. Yay! Ozzy wants to be in. Come on! Come on! Come on! Yes! Little cheating there. But we made it in. Okay, I got Hollow and Azzy are going in the bucket. Ta-da! Ticket. Going in the cute purple Halloween-y kitty bucket. Ta-da! That was bad. Bad. Cat fight KimonoKat. No! No fighting allowed! If I win anything, I want the Pokemon code. I missed them due to no gas. You don't get to decide what you win. You just have to wait and see. I don't think life works that way.
I forgot to go talk to my GameStop guy.
But you won. You won. Look at that. You missed it because you forgot to go talk to your GameStop guy? Yeah. Well, I have 3 of them to give away, so you guys have a chance. Especially if there's like only 3 Switch players here or something.
I'm pretty decent bit. I just haven't finished it.
Michigan!
I need to finish the
GG.
league thing. I gotta fight Penny at some point.
Yes.
Have you heard the end of the story? Like
you have to have the Scarlet and Violet
little,
game on the Switch to win to use this code on the back.
No. I haven't made all 3 of those paths. This is like where I'm at right now.
Because if you don't have that game, then it's not going to help you. A lot of my viewers do it though, so. Ah! I'm just messing things all up. I saw rain and it ran the other way.
There's a lot of moments in the game where it would really, really help if it had voice acting.
GG.
There's a lot of cutscenes that I've noticed.
A
like,
wild
really
Pinard appeared, guys. Pokecatch Pinard.
How dare you mispronounce Pawnyard?
Pawnard. How is it Pawn?
Pawnyard.
Pawnyard.
No.
Sounds like a pawn shop.
That's not really. It's supposed to be chess, but yeah.
Oh, that kind of pawn.
Yeah. And it's evolution Bisharp? Yeah. Bishop?
Makes sense, it
And then
does.
it's evolution to that King Gambit.
Yep. I haven't gotten that far with them.
Well, I was lucky enough to
Bruh.
find one in a raid in the
Hi.
DLC, so I didn't have to
Welcome,
fight
Six.
through trying to evolve it the right way.
Welcome.
I do need the DLC.
It's actually quite fun, the first part of it. The second part hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. I also need the DLC for Sword and Shield.
I followed that one.
No?
At this point, I wouldn't. Or, I mean, you can, but so far, Scarlet and Violet's been quite a bit better.
I just want the Pokemans.
To catch
True,
them all.
true.
I mean, you might get them in a trade though.
Even without the DLC, you can do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
I
yeah, you don't
think
have
so.
to have the DLC to get the Pokemon if you have someone that can trade with you.
Oh.
That part came in a free update when the Sword and Shield DLC came out.
That's cool.
God, people was already pissed off about the Dexit thing. Could you imagine if you actually had to,
6.
pay to get the Pokemon from the DLC? People would have really rioted in the streets then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
No,
sense.
not hard.
It's like I have the Pokemon in the DLC in card form. But I don't
Doesn't
have
count.
it. No,
doesn't
exactly.
count.
That's just my card Pokédex. I want like an actual
Mhm.
like living dex. And that's what I use home for.
Mm-hmm.
Home is my living dex.
Mine too now. It's because for so many years I had passed up all my Pokemon from game to game to game. And I had like all of them as I passed them up. And then home came out. And I was like, yep, they're all going in there.
Yeah. I still pay yearly on it.
Me too.
I do too.
I ain't losing them. Those are my babies.
Wow.
I'll cry. I'll give up my Switch online Switch before I do that.
Right?
Yeah, especially since like you can just emulate everything that's on the Switch Online service.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
At least I do.
We won't tell.
I think it's completely legal to emulate as long as you're not repurposing, reselling, doing anything like that with Pokemon games
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I think they've always had this like
Mm-hmm.
desire for everyone to really enjoy their games and whatnot.
I mean, look at it this way, people might not have a system to play the games, but if they can emulate it, then they're going to buy 50 million maybe Pokemon products, cards,
Yeah.
anything they can get their hands on. They're going to be Pokemon fans no matter what. They're going to get their money out of them one way or another.
As is capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Emulating Nintendo games is morally okay. Mm-hmm. That's my understanding that it's legal. As long as you don't, resell or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a limit on, the age of the game or something weird. I don't know. I mean, I know being so, I think you need to do it with any modern games. I don't think you can do it with modern games. It doesn't make sense with modern games because they're all open world.
And
I feel like
you can still mod a lot of open world games.
yeah.
Hmm. Michigan, you need more points.
Motherfucker. Are you Ed?
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Happy Halloween.
Hi! I was like, I thought he had like if somebody like it's like, are you guys so small? So I thought for a second it was just like a video behind him, like Rain has. And I realized there was actually people behind him. Cause Rain's got fake people behind her, so
He's not fake.
Yeah, and I just told Joe, I was like, dude, she has got Loki behind her. I love her because I named my dog after Loki.
Oh, that's
I was
cool.
like, oh my god. But no, those kids in the background, it's not a background, it's my children.
They're real kids.
We came here and stopped for Halloween. We're done
Aw.
trick-or-treating. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're done. We got a scarecrow.
Aww.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mom, too. Corn.
Spider-Man back there.
Yep, Spider-Man back there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say hi
I
to
was
KimonoKat.
Loki. Earlier.
I wanted to say hi to KimonoKat before I left because I'm leaving.
Hi.
We just came here.
I love your unicorn onesie.
Thank you. We just came here to get some candy for a minute. See
Mhm,
Uncle
mhm.
Joe and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
But just so you know, I love your Loki and your PJs. Oh, shit. But I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You see Loki, Bubba? You see
Yeah.
Loki, Bubba?
Kind of peeking out around the corner at her.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Loki.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's not my dog.
No. No, that's Marvel Loki.
Alright.
Confusing
Happy
people.
Halloween. Yep. Happy
You
Halloween,
too.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
I don't want a green snorkel. Also, it was rigged. Mono won.
Wait, what?
Did I win?
Mono won that one.
You won that one?
I wasn't even paying attention.
Completely rigged.
Shane was in the lead, so last he knew he was winning. So now he's got to go back and look.
No, I happened to glance over and yeah, no, it was Mono.
Last I looked, yeah, I was in the lead. What happened?
I don't know.
Mono
I was
cheated
just-
is what happened.
I was just playing and not paying attention. Alright, we're gonna do a drawing. It's time. Alright. Let's draw for one of these Mimikyu cards. Do it. And if you don't have a Switch, you get a sticker or Pokemon cards. I'll let you pick. So I have plenty of those two things. Alright. First winner is Azzy. Azzy, do you want a card, a sticker, or a Mimikyu? Shy, did you steal your Mimikyu plushie yesterday? Your doggo did? Oh no.
And shivers down your spine.
Doggo no. Yes. We're gonna get Shane singing here.
So shock your soul.
Alright, Azzy though. Do you want the Mimikyu card? Because you won. You won. You won.
Let's say I could sing some Halloween songs.
Do it. Mimikyu! Alright. I'm gonna do another one. You Team Mimikyu, I knew you would. I was like, where's he at? I know he wants this. Alright, we'll go ahead and do one more Mimikyu card. Olive, I hope you're here.
I better be the one winning.
The winner is Michigan. So Michigan doesn't have a Switch.
Oh, yeah, sticker.
Would you like a sticker or cards? Sticker or Pokemon cards? You choose. Which one?
Sticker.
Okay, give you a sticker. You are here? Okay. See. Okay, sticker for Michigan. Mimikyu for Azzy. And then... You're welcome. Alright, I'll do another drawing since... One more. Then we're gonna play another round, then we'll do some more drawings. Very nice, thank you, Lolo. You're welcome. Alright, one more. Come on. Lady Rainer Hollow needs a Mimikyu card. It is Momo. It's Momo here. Momo, are you here? Woohoo! Well, would you like? You want the card, but I don't know. Do you have the game on the Switch? If not, you can choose between a sticker and Pokemon cards. Sticker? Or Pokemon cards? Or Mimikyu? Up to you. You do have a Switch? Do you have Scarlet and Violet?
Oh, she does not have.
Oh, I do not have a Switch. Okay.
God, learn.
Which
to read
one do you want?
Ramono. God.
I can't read. I work today.
Can't talk.
I left my brain at work. Sticker!
They are hard.
What's the sticker? The sticker is of my painting. It's a Scoopy sticker. Of kitties and pumpkins and a Scoopy tree. Yeah, words are hard. Yes. Okay. Alright, you get a sticker. Sticker for Momo. Alright, Snappy, hello, yes, you're amazing. Alright, we're Snappy, would you like to join our drawing? You have to be present to win, though. You have to be present. We're doing giveaways for stickers, Mimikyu cards, and Pokemon cards. I have a... Griff, is there room in your lobby? Oh, yeah, definitely.
plenty.
Join. Oh, can you... It's KVC right now, but I'd love to play. You're more than welcome to play. Rain, you want to DM him the code?
Wee.
Desi, welcome to the stream. Night Rain. Hi, Momo. Mono, your cosplay is great. Momo's cosplay. Or Mono's cosplay. Words are hard tonight. Everybody's had way too much candy.
Have
I have
eight.
my big book of Poe.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Guys, if you want to join the drawing tonight, put a 1 in chat. Put a 1 in chat. If you're just showing up and you want to join the drawing.
There we go.
Why, thank you.
Oh my god.
Yes, Momo and Mono are present. But yes, I know what you meant, Night Rain. Thank you so much, Night Rain. Desi, Night Rain, Snappy, if you want to join the drawing, put a 1 in chat. We're gonna play another round of golf. Let's go.
Can you believe it's been so long since I've cracked this book open? I found a $2 bill in it. Didn't even remember what's there.
I believe it.
It
I'm like,
pays
when
to
did I
read.
put this-
It pays to read.
I must have been using it as a bookmark because I have it right here at Fall of the House of
Welcome, Ezzy.
You know
That work.
what?
It's okay,
Average
Snappy.
book reader. Just using whatever as a fucking bookmark. No, I'm super excited. I just got the next book in the young adult series that I really like, so I'm like excited to read it. It's much smaller than I thought it was going to be, but there's only so much this author can do.
Oh yeah, I could do a reading, I guess, of like The Raven or something.
Be a lot of fun.
You're gonna read us bedtime stories. Is that what you're gonna do?
I wouldn't call these bedtime stories, but okay.
I wouldn't call Poe bedtime stories.
What? A wild, unidentified ghost
What?
appear. Catch it using
Hold on.
poke catch. Winners reveal in 90. What? What?
Yes,
Unidentified ghost? Oh hell yeah! I'm using an Ultra Ball for that shit.
Yeah. What? Isn't there a ball that's better for ghost type though? What ball is that? Because I need to be ready
Dust
for next
Ball.
time. Okay, so if this comes up again, I'm using a dust ball.
That only works if it's dark or if you're in a cave. Well, in the games it does. I don't know.
Yeah, I was
how it
gonna
works
say.
I don't know how it works in their little.
I was gonna
chat
say I
thing.
don't think Dusk Ball is in this yet. You're not a shot.
I always have a hard time with this stupid hole.
Same.
I got hole in one right when you said that too.
Why
I'll
does
take
the
it.
There's a phantom ball. Wonder if that works on Ghost.
Oh yeah, that might be.
Phantom ball.
You don't have.
I have a phantom ball.
Pokey Shop.
So,
I'm surprised we're not doing the haunted house or something.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
We can do spooky house.
Damn it! I can
I'm just
never get this
Taking
one.
a ride into the ice cream.
Well,
No, oh my god! Unidentified ghost! How do we know what it is?
It's under the
Don't you need the
You
in the games? Don't you need the those glasses from you need those special glasses, don't you, in the games?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to go to Popcorn and find out what's going on.
I got you. I shall investigate.
Mm-hmm. Investigate and let me know how to figure out what the heck I just caught. I was like, what if it's an unknown? But it says ghost
actually,
Pokemon.
if it's an unknown.
Yeah.
It says it's a ghost, so I
Mysterious
don't.
ghosts will start to haunt the PCG chats, and they will benefit from full event boosts. Can you see through their spooky disguises and claim one of the rare Pokemon? Will you be able to find the source of nightmares? Oh,
What? So it doesn't tell you? Oh my god, I'm way overshooting this.
No. Ow. Wait. Yeah, for the Pokemon, the unidentified ghost.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to figure out what Pokemon I got.
It's a spooky ghost, so I don't know. It's just a disguise, essentially. But of course, I can't see your end of things.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me anything different than what you saw.
But you can't check your decks?
I mean, I can look at my decks in the chat. And
not in your thing.
the last Pokemon if I'm reading this right, via recents, the last one I caught was Sableye. So I don't know.
That's probably your...
Yeah, Sableye ghost types. That may be it.
Yeah, that'll be the one that you probably caught. So they're just ghost type Pokemon that are disguised, apparently. And they might.
So you don't know which one you're gonna get.
Fancy. Yeah.
But yeah, it says Sableye, so I'll pay attention in recent. And guys, look at your recent and see which Pokemon you have right now. That way you know
I think that's rude.
if it changes. Rude? What's rude?
My most recent is a Wurmple.
You'll find out.
I
tried jumping that.
Interesting.
Aw, come on. I'm playing really bad, by the way.
Well, stop that.
Yes,
Yeah, you just have to drink a
you're
little
ahead
bit
of
more.
me.
Yeah, how?
I don't know. Oh, because I screwed up royally on that second hole. That's probably why.
Jim, are you winning?
Yeah, I'm winning. It's that.
Oh, my 17 on the first hole. Very good. You're doing great. You're doing great, Azzy. You're winning.
Yeah, Jim is way better than Michigan.
It's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. And if you get a total score of 69, then you win the game. That's just the rules.
Yeah,
I don't make them.
that rule. That was in the oldest Bible out there. It's just...
Yep. Shane? Shane?
Marin.
How dare you touch me?
What? Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I got to show you guys.
There.
Oh, hold on.
See, my collar's crooked again, too.
You know, I don't think I've seen that.
It's
spelling
supposed to
of
like
Shane in a while.
stay. Shane, Shane, Shane.
I've not seen that spelling of Shane in quite a while.
Even if we say it like 500
feel the
times,
need
we
to
say
say
when we
this.
play a Stardew too.
So I went to go see To Kill a Mockingbird
Yeah,
last
yeah,
Wednesday.
The song.
I got a little bear.
No.
Aww.
Dang it! I didn't jump. Shane, Shane.
Mhm.
It was a really expensive bear, but it was really worth it. Because half the proceeds from buying the bear went to a foundation that helps those who are getting out of prison to readjust to civilian life.
That's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of them go back because they can't adjust.
Yeah.
To Kill a Mockingbird is probably one of my favorite
Mhm,
books.
mhm.
And being able to see a live play of it was really cool.
Oh. Dang donut. Now I messed up because I'm at the wrong angle and everything else.
Oh, no, it's a little bit
I
much.
went way.
I reset. No.
If you do, it'll strike against you. I think you can hit R
Yeah.
to go back to the beginning, but it'll.
Yeah, don't do that.
I tried it, didn't work.
It doesn't go all the way to the beginning.
This is a whole. It's not.
It just goes to your last, like, spot.
I'm thinking of. I guess I'm thinking of a different. I'm thinking of golf. It's a different.
Yeah.
I can't
We
reach.
play golf with your friends.
Yeah, I never played golf.
This one's superior. I've actually never
No.
played golf it, so.
I hate
I've
this whole.
seen
Me neither.
a lot of really. I've seen a lot of really cool, just outlandish maps on Golf It. Some of it looks
Really?
fun and like want to pull your hair out.
I'm gonna uninstall the game after this whole.
Why? You can't do this.
Like I've seen a lot of.
Don't
like,
fall off.
Winning.
Austin and
And now
friends play it.
You're beating me, I'm sure.
I was doing
I'm sure you're doing way better than me right now. I'm having all the issues.
I'm just gonna cry.
I'll cry with you. Maybe now I'm not going to lose, right?
What's up?
Yeah, you're not gonna lose. I'm gonna run out of turns.
I need anger management. So.
Where'd it go? Hey, baby.
Yeah.
You're not so scared of Monty anymore, huh?
There we go. Jesus.
Yeah.
This is, I guess, my best hole if you think about it. Cause I had
You
the
guys
most
okay
firsts.
now?
He's not mad at him anymore.
No. Oh, when I left for work today, Puddle still wouldn't go near Monty. But he's, like, not running away from Monty now. So that's good.
Everybody has their costumes on. That's good. That's good.
Yep, we got our costumes on. I'm a pinata.
I'm Jim.
I'm a traffic cone.
Something
I'm
you see
Earth
when you're not
with a
drunk.
traffic cone.
And we got a murderer here, so it's perfect.
Because Earth is a hazard.
Yeah. I've got,
Michigan has a hat on. And
Shane's got
Shane does a
mask
braid.
on.
I'm Jim from Toronto.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
Let's go this way. Let's jump all
Not to
over
go down.
all the things. And, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Nope.
Right on, bub.
Gotta make up ground for all those negative points I got.
My like fake African mask that I made in high school. If that had eye holes in it, I would wear that.
But it doesn't.
That will probably glue onto like the mask, and you will never get it off.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Azzy.
I overshot it. I never can make the chocolate slide. I always give it too much heat. Oh, just hit me.
I was trying to actually help you, and I screwed up on the
No.
I was trying to
Oh
hit
no, I
you,
don't
so
think
you
you
didn't
want
have
the
to hit
chocolate
hit.
side.
No, not really.
That doesn't sound right.
It's not.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's a euphemism for something, I'm sure.
Get in the hole.
Oh. If it came from Twitch, yes, probably. Now that I think about it, that's where I got that from.
Mm-hmm.
It's Twitch and other people playing golf with friends. So I'm sure it means something.
As long as you're not getting in the chocolate starfish, you'll be okay.
What?
Yeah, what? You.
Uh-oh. I don't think I want to know.
I didn't know Limp
No.
Biscuit was here. Are you trying to be a Limp Biscuit over here?
Oh, I just realized what this map reminds me of. The Purge.
My nightmare.
It is kind of purge-like.
Look, you're just gonna murder us. I
That's
think.
really fucking creepy, Shane.
I'm pretty sure I can outrun them both, so I'm good. So I'll just run.
I just look over, I'm like, what the?
Yeah, he's waiting for the purge to, happen.
I'm glad you
I'm
can
sorry, I
find
needed
some
that.
amusement out of
Yeah,
that.
he's laughing like.
I needed that.
Oh my.
It's sometimes a little.
You guys got Shane rolling now.
That's good.
Oh, damn,
See,
Paul, you
now
scared
I'm
me,
gonna
so-
lose. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna lose. I already read that earlier.
It is blah blah blah. Hole in two.
Meow.
I took that out of the wrong angle.
That's what she said.
What? Alright. Almost. Happy Halloween, KimonoKat! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! Happy Halloween to you too!
Oh. Boo.
Is that all my
See if I can remember how
Coins.
much power.
I don't know. This is a hard
all
one.
my Pokemon coins?
Nice.
This giant
Yeah.
box.
Let's go.
Oh, not enough
Oh, I got a swoosh on that too! Holy cow! I couldn't do that
Ah,
again.
yeah.
Whoops.
The costume looks cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm in second place now, so Shane, just walk away and start getting all the strokes that you need.
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Go
Hope you're having a good Halloween. Doing spoopy things.
Now I'm way behind because of that stupid hole.
Eyeball it.
Shoot, I don't want to be.
Do
over here.
it. Get it. Go.
Hit me.
Damn it. I'm stuck.
Yeah, good. That's good.
I was gonna say, you might
Woo,
be getting
birdie.
your wish here, Michigan.
You
Yeah.
wish. Aw. You gonna watch a movie? Well, at least you're here watching streams. Catching out spoopy people in spoopy costumes.
I'm gonna watch scary
Another wild, unidentified Pokemon, guys. Pokecatch if you want the
But catch it.
A double budgie.
Oh, lady.
if you want the wild, unidentified Pokemon.
If I don't fucking catch it, I'm gonna fight someone.
I'm catching it again.
You already
just
tried to
wait.
fight somebody, you got uppercut.
I'm catching it again. Stealing it. Nobody's getting it but me. Stealing it.
Just get in, okay, good.
Imagine a Pokemon that's a TV with muscular arms.
Ooh.
Are you just combining Rotom with Incineroar?
Like, yeah, I was thinking like Rotom with like Machoke or something.
That's what I was thinking. Machamp, Machoke. Having a TV head,
Rotom?
holding it. Right? If they had a baby. I think we collided. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
I have enough hair for Jimmy Neutron.
Just
Do
throw
Do
out.
it.
Yeah, throw it
You
out,
could have
throw
been
it out.
Jimmy Neutron today.
Yeah, you should have been. Oh, you missed up.
Could have been Jimmy Neutron today.
Okay.
I caught it again. Yes. And
And Mama, what the
Mono
fucking
and
shit,
Momo,
guys?
Mono and Momo, or even better, a Zapdos with all 4 of Macham's
What'd you
arms.
get? What'd you get? What'd you guys get?
A muscular Zappy bird. I'm gonna look. What'd you get, Momo? What's your secret Pokemon? Everybody wants to know. I'm gonna refresh.
Secret.
Refresh the thing to see what I get. If the page will load.
Kirby.
Load.
Oh no,
Dust
you can't see it
stalks.
on the app.
Dust stalks. Does that count?
You mean a Dusclops?
Dust stalks, the moth.
From Gen 3, yeah.
I don't know.
I got the moth. That's what I got. It's not a ghost Pokemon, is it? Drink water. Thank you.
I don't remember.
Well,
I got
that water is full of vodka, so yeah. Just let you know, guys.
Yeah, it's secretly Baka. I'm not telling.
Yeah. You're going crazy, then.
I don't know, but something tells me, Mono, if that was just straight up vodka, you wouldn't be able to drink it with that straight up the face.
No, yeah, she would be on the ground
I
right
mean-
now.
You would at the very least be shuddering a little bit.
Be like, ugh.
Yeah.
I would need some sugar and some lemon. Do some lemon shots at least. Come on now. Straight up vodka is gross.
I used to, a long time ago, used to do stuff like that.
Be like rubbing alcohol.
Sorry.
Somebody. Is there a way to get a hole in one, Azzy? I just saw you shoot off the top of the hill toward the thing. I never tried that.
Oh.
I don't know, but I messed up, so now I gotta try to fix myself here.
Fix yourself.
Hold on, I'll help you. Hold on. Let me tell you what to do. Okay, so yay, your journey begins. Your starter Pokemon is Popio. Okay, so now you contain a Pokemon, so
It's a
next
bug
time
poison type.
it pops up every 15 minutes under the question mark what the next Pokemon is. So then you'll be able to catch. Also, just being in chat, you earn Pokeballs. And you start the game with Pokeballs. So all you have to do is do exclamation poke catch to try to catch whatever comes up next. If you really want to see what's in your inventory, if you look below my stream in the channel, there's a box for the game and it'll show you what's in your inventory.
I see now. Dustox is a bug poison type, by the way.
I have no idea about any hole-in-ones this game. I've never played this game before. Just winging it. Well, you're doing great. Just wing it. You're gonna find
Just
something
being
new.
here is being great.
Then I'm not gonna know about. Okay, so then I gotta go here. Alright.
One more hole and
Nobody has 69 yet. There's 2 of us with
Oh.
59. So we gotta get 10
I-
points right.
if I can get 9 here.
We need to get 10 points. We need to fail a little bit. So we can get 69 and win.
I have a.
Yeah, you have to wait until one spawns again. Once somebody catches it, you gotta wait the 15 minutes for the next one to spawn.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah. Only one Pokemon spawns every 15 minutes. Ah! This is bad. Oh gosh. I didn't mean to like get this many points. I'm gonna have more than 69 points. Oh, thanks for the info. I knew about this, by the way. No worries, no worries.
Shit.
Nope. 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 There you go.
Go slow, go slow. Don't go off the track. Stay on the track. There we go, there we go.
Son of a.
Oh, sorry, Shane.
Just trying to catch up to the rest of my team. Despite being almost as old as
I think I'm.
the Pokemon franchise. It's
Alright,
all good,
69,
it's all
I got my 9
good.
strokes.
Too
Yeah.
hard.
I win.
Too
Just
hard.
by the techno.
Stop!
Yeet.
Stop! No! I went backwards.
There's stuff in this
Ow.
game that I don't know how to do either in the Pokemon community game.
How
You can
the-
actually spar
I
each
just
other
went backwards.
or fight each other and stuff
Go
too, but
for it.
I've never done any of the battles. Some people do. There's a whole Discord for it as well. You want to like really get into it, and you can get like free Pokeballs and stuff every day. I mostly just play while I stream now. Well, that's my Discord. That's not the one I want. Is it what's the Pokemon community games Discord? Do I have that saved in
69.
here?
I don't.
I don't think I
so.
do. I don't think I
I
do. I
want
think I copy and paste it normally.
Yep. Jen got 69.
Yep.
Automatic win.
Jim! Not fair, Jim.
Yeah.
Banned. You're banned from my community. You're not allowed to win. Just kidding.
Well, Michigan gave me the seat tonight, so.
Ah. Okay. Alright, so here's the Discord to the bot if you ever want to check it out. You don't have to join, but you can check out the Pokemon Community Games Discord and learn more about it. But you can also go in every day and there's a channel where you type !Poke
We
Daily
should do that,
and you
actually.
earn stuff every day.
I just checked my step counter app on my phone. I got 10,484 steps at work today.
That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dang.
I always try to get 10,000 a day. You know, it's good. Minimum is probably 8,000, but anyways.
Alright guys, it's time for another drawing. If you are not entered into the drawing yet and you would like to, put a 1 in chat. We are giving away Mimikyu for those that own Scarlet and Violet. It's a Mimikyu Electric Tiara type code, or a here, Big Me. Or you get Pokemon Halloween cards, or you can get a sticker, depending on whether you have a Switch or you don't have a Switch or you want stickers. Until the cards are gone. Is it possible to be selfish and enter twice for a sticker? If you are a subscriber, you get 2 entries. Sorry. No, you already won. You already won. You can't win again. You can win another night, though. I will give away stickers again, though. I always do sticker giveaways. So, alright. Let's get you in. Let's see. Rando.
I say everybody should hit 1.
Rando gets in the drawing bucket. Ticket goes in. I'm being sauced, right? Oh yeah, I forgot all I got all these crazy. See, hype. Some hype in chat. I forgot I got my Halloween Pokemon emotes right now. Enjoy them while they last. I'll probably leave them up year round in the Discord,
Please.
but
I need my.
I feel like everything's crooked and it drives me nuts when it's so crooked. You know, when you have a tie on, a collar, a tie, and a choker, there's no way they're gonna line up all the time. I'm sorry. And then when you're trying to adjust them in reverse in the camera, when you're looking at yourself, it's yeah, mirrored reverse thing. There we go. There, got it. If I win, do I get to choose which prize? Yeah, you can choose which prize. Until these are gone, because I only got 3 of these. So, and then you can choose between these things. I got tons of these, so. Alright. Get ready, guys. Hype. Alright. In the bucket we go. And it is Shane! You win! Congrats, Shane. Which item would you like? Or did he step away? No, there he
I'm still
is.
here. Actually, I think probably the Pokemon cards because I already have your sticker and I don't care about electric Terra type Mimikyu.
Okay. Alright, you get Pokemon cards. You're the first one getting
Well,
cards.
I already have Mimikyu in the decks, and I'm not planning on using it competitively.
Fair.
So
Poke cards. Got it. Wrote down on the stick. But yes, it's Halloween Pokemon cards. There's 3 cards in the pack.
that way I give
Drink
you enough
water.
points to get
Thank
the
you.
Mimikyu, right?
Rainbow cat ears. I don't think you can
Follow.
put rainbow cat ears on this.
But anyways,
Posture check.
where I'm from on my thing now. I'm from Germany.
I bet you could. Oh my god. I could try, but I mean, I got enough layers on as it is. But jeez.
So
Let me
I
look.
still have issues with my fingy. I can't put weight on it still.
Your feet. Abby!
It's like I can carry things.
Yes, I
it's just if
did.
put weight on it.
Thank you for the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. I'll put you in the bucket. Yes, guys, if you want to enter the drawing, put a 1 in chat. Azzy. Alright, you're going in. Azzy in the bucket. And then, here's. Oh gosh, it's like I gotta put them in front or in back or what?
Costume continues.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought about dressing my cat as a cat. For some years, I know stuff.
I don't know. It looks like a mess, but it is what it is. And then, okay. Did I get you in? Gun show? Oh, jeez, okay.
Well,
Oh, my sleeve caught and I couldn't lift my arm. Long sleeves. Ah! Okay.
That's why we don't wear long sleeves in Florida.
And this, I can't even reach my arm. Because these
so
tiny
weird.
little sleeves are like, I don't know, this whole outfit is like constricting. It's like a boa constrictor. I don't know.
should have been a steak.
It's like, you can't do much. How are people supposed to clean in a maid's outfit? I don't know. There's like too many moving parts, and your sleeves are gonna get in the toilet.
Still a little bit more
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yes.
looks like more like a role
Outfit doesn't
play.
usually look like
made.
that.
No.
I know, right? There's no way you could clean the toilet without getting your sleeves in it. Just say.
Well, if it's super clean, then it doesn't matter.
Aw. Yes, it's constricting. It is. I mean, there's like 3 parts alone just around my neck.
Well,
There's the collar, the tie, and then the choker, and oh yeah, and the tie. Yeah, no.
Well, next year be a snake. And just say
I'm
that.
gonna hide for a second there. I had to fix my. That time's still messed up. We'll be back. Just,
Technical difficulties.
yes.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange?
This is our technical difficulty song that pops up. Great.
Come with us and you will see.
We really appreciate your call. Please stay.
There we go.
We really appreciate you being here at the stream.
So I hear that song every single day. Okay. And it's because my coworker absolutely just loves to fucking sing it when he walks
How
into
do,
the room.
guys?
It's weird
I'll
as
catch-
hell, but it just keeps us entertained.
I don't have one. There you go. Poke catch. That's how you do it, Rando.
A little bit of Halloween.
Was there more drawing, or am I okay to hear? No, we're gonna draw again. Stay. Anybody else want in the bucket?
Everybody, yeah. It's very easy.
Going once, going twice. Pokemon cards, stickers, Mimikyu for the Switch. Exclusive
This is how it
codes.
Let's see.
So, 1 in chat if you want to join. Bucket.
With the one button.
Bucket. You can't win the bucket. You can't win the bucket. You gotta put a 1 in chat if you want in the bucket.
No, I thought we were winning the bucket. Yeah. What the...
Coffee, you play it? 1. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Ryu, I already put you in the bucket, didn't I? Rando, I think I did. I forgot what it was though. I'm having a blood moment. What did I tell?
No, you have no blood going to your.
Oh, that he can poke catch. Exclamation poke catch maybe? But it's already been caught now. It's been caught now. Dang Pokemon, it already ran
I
away.
wasn't paying attention to you, I was paying attention to Shane.
I was paying attention to everything.
It already, yes, I did put
Too
you
many
in there.
noises, I
I
can't
forgot.
focus on all of them.
My brain.
I know. My brain can't focus. It's had too much sugar. Way too much sugar.
No,
Alright,
because you're.
drawing time. Because I did what? Michigan?
No, I was gonna say because you have no blood going to your brain. Right?
I don't! It's all cut off right here!
No. Hollow, no.
And right
How
here!
this work?
It's
Yeah, you
like
have no blood.
cinched around my waist, tight. Can't breathe, can't expand my lungs, and I can't breathe through my
Yeah.
neck.
You might have to take a
Now
stretch
you
break
feel like
and
a
change
girl in,
into
like, the
something
17th
comfy.
I was about to say, sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, didn't girls have to wear stuff like this that like tighten?
I sure hope you don't
Supposed
suffocate.
to.
As
So
long as
horses
Rain's not
should
here, I won't
never
suffocate.
constrict your breathing. Like they were not designed to constrict your breathing. They were
Kill the
designed to give
costume!
a desired figure.
Oh yeah, I know. It's good.
But yeah, as long as Rain's not here to, pull my chain, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
No, she's flying right now. This is a background.
No, Momo's got the leash to the chain and everything, so.
Alright. Shake the tickets! We're going to pull another winner out of the bucket. Alright. Is...
I just worked 12 hours. I don't want to go back to work now. So let's not choke to death.
Rando! Rando won!
Rigged. Completely rigged.
Yeah!
It is 100%.
Rando, you won!
Don't call my lawyer.
That's probably what I said earlier. I was putting your ticket in the bucket. Probably. Pick one! Which one do you want? Pokemon card, if you don't mind. I don't mind at all. I can mention these. I don't mind.
Going for it. So
A Pokemon card. Alright. Get with Lady Rain and Whispers so I know where to send it, or you can join my Discord and DM me so I know where to send it. Either one. However you like to
or
do it.
send it to me and you can
Join
have a good old
Discord
time.
or DM me. The
Yeah,
lady ring.
Or Whisper. Yeah. Ah, Mama.
If you message me,
Hi.
we can have an
Hello,
awesome
freak
day.
on a leash.
All
Oh
in.
my god, you called me a freak? What? Momo. It's pot called cattle black there.
Super freaky.
Not how they say it. Come here, Momo. Come here. Come here, Momo.
The late night has.
It's your turn. It's your turn, Momo. She's gonna bark. Oh my gosh. Oh. Alright, one more. Bork, bork. One more bucket ticket. Who would it be?
What? Hey.
It is Lady! You finally want something, Lady?
Rigged again.
Fucking time.
That's rigged.
Which one do you want?
Fuck faster.
Pick one. I don't actually care.
You don't care? You don't want the
You don't
Mimikyu
care about
card?
friendships?
I kind
Or-
of want the Mimikyu though.
I know you do.
To be fair.
I know you do. That's why I was like, what? You don't care? Like, I know you know I Mimikyu. It's okay. I still got one more Mimikyu. You can have a
That's
Mimikyu.
fair. I guess that's fair. Hi, Montebet.
I got one more to give.
I will say though, if Hollow doesn't win the other one, he can have my Mimikyu.
A leash
Yeah, I'll
on your
take the
desk
other
and not on the bed. I don't know. Because I'm in here. I'm in
Montebet, lay
here. My
down.
collar's on, so. And Rain
Lay down.
Rain told me to stay.
So when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go outside and get the leash.
She said I could take the leash off though.
I'm dead. Hi, baby.
So.
Come here. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes on like that. Could get
You
banned
your
for
cat
toss
has a
or
dog.
something. Yeah. This is actually part of the costume. The cosplay. It came with it. Just like
This
this.
dog.
So,
Yeah, that's kimono after hour. You know, that's
how do I DM you on Discord? Oh, you have to be in Discord first, and then you just go into the top. Did you join?
Okay. I love that dog. It's such a beautiful dog.
That, or if you have me on social media, you can do that too.
I don't think he likes that I propped him up on my legs.
Yeah, you either join
He's
Discord,
not a
and then you
lap
can
dog.
message me, or on social media. Either one.
Sounds good, Hollow.
I need to run for now. Glance at my phone every now and then. Hope I don't miss stuff. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Twitter counts. You can message me on Twitter. That way you don't have to have another app if you don't want it. Discord's awesome though. We do movie nights and stuff.
Okay, there you go.
Next Tuesday.
I know, bub.
Alright, we're gonna play another game. I got Haunted House up.
Go
You guys
lay down.
ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Ready for
right.
some
Yeah.
haunted? And then we'll do 3 more drawings. What's your name on there? On Twitter, I'm KimonoKat. Instagram, it's the KimonoKat, because KimonoKat was taken.
That's right.
Sorry, I took it.
Yeah. I try to be KimonoKat everywhere. I think the only place I'm not is Insta. I had to put the in front of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everywhere else I'm KimonoKat.
If you want to go to the real KimonoKat, just go to mine, because that's mine.
But yeah, okay, we'll go.
Lay
Let's
down.
do this.
Let's do this. Let's win again
Down.
with 69.
Let's
Got
go.
your leg. Got your leg.
Got your leg.
Haunted.
Yeah, this
Is everybody ready?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
I can't hear Shane. He's
I know
muted.
Shane, yeah, I couldn't hear you, yeah.
He's muted.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright.
I'm here.
Just like where I would only see one camera at a time based on whoever was talking and you weren't talking, so it wouldn't pop up.
Honestly, if I ever get
Monty.
a decent amount of money, we all need to go to a haunted house together.
No.
Okay, sweet. I'll get with you later and make sure I get that to you.
Though I am not opposed to going to the Ohio State Reformatory. That is definitely a haunted place.
It's been a while, I know.
I was gonna say we could meet in the mountains in North Carolina and go to Tweetsie on their haunted train.
I want to go on like a haunted thing.
I'd be okay with that. That sounds fun.
Thank you for the retweet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Shane. Much appreciated.
Because we can be all scared together as friends.
Woo.
So, the last anime I watched was Black
Sweet.
Butler.
Gotcha. Let's see. Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same for Mono.
I'm already
I
following
need to
you.
watch it.
And down I go.
Mono,
This
what
hole
was your
reminds
last
me of
watched
so
anime?
many holes.
What?
What was your last watched anime?
I can't hit it.
Dragon Ball Z.
Did you watch
Sick out.
that after you left here?
No, I was watching Fruit Baskets with you guys in Discord.
Yeah, but that was before you went on
No, that was
vacation,
after. We had
Was it?
we had a girls' night. We all hung out and watched
Oh,
Fruit
yeah.
Baskets because I got rose hooked on it.
I was painting my nails.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
So I guess that would be the most recent then, huh?
31 episodes of One Piece. Nice.
Yeah,
How many of y'all have ever
Remember the
heard
last
the
anime I
anime
watched?
named
It's been a while.
Zombie Land Saga? I have
I only
Gosh.
remember because it's only been a few
Zombie
years
Land
since I
Saga.
watched anime.
Is it good?
Not anime.
Unfortunately, I don't watch nearly as much anime as I used to.
No, I think the last one we watched as a community was
I've never heard of it.
that time we got reincarnated as a slime.
I do remember
Which season 2's coming out of that one. Or whatever.
Like, we gotta get through the
Lot of
MCU
movies.
first.
I know.
Although
I
it
love
starts
the
off
MCU.
dark,
We'll keep the MC.
I have to add it to my list. my wish
No,
list.
the next anime I'm going to be watching though, the new Digimon movies. I'm going to be going to the cinema to see it in a few weeks. I'm very
Zombieland
excited.
Saga. I just wrote it on a ticket. Does that mean I gotta put the anime in the bucket?
Yes.
Yep.
I could put the anime in the bucket.
As Cat in the Hat would say, I'm so excited!
Oh my god. Oh, I need to sit and watch that movie again.
Oh,
It's so
no.
cursed, but it's
Oh, I got blocked by
It
the
is
freaking
so,
chair.
It is so cursed, yeah.
It's doing good.
Thanks for the boost.
Nope.
You're welcome. It didn't help me at all.
I was trying to cheat and
Look at that.
do things and stuff. Right? Oh! Ah! That was so good! It was so good and so bad at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah. This
I'll
is not gonna
look at
end
Rando,
well.
Rando.
Don't. Oh my god, I'm still in the corner of the world. This game looks fun.
Looking.
So you know what? Golf with
Auntie.
friends. We often play it on community nights.
Stop looking.
I was gonna say, you should put your arms out like Titanic there, because you're on there like that.
Golf with enemies. Ah! Because you're enemies by the time it's over, and we make up our own rules.
Yeah, and you start fighting afterwards. It's
Last
like-
place wins, or 69
Yeah,
rules everything.
69
Apparently,
is
so.
the trump card, basically.
You can have up to 12 people playing. It gets pretty chaotic when you have 12, but it's a good time.
Ah, Michigan.
Hey.
What is going on here? Between
Michigan
Azzy and
attacked me.
Michigan and
Hey.
Shane and I was trying to cheat
You
and messed
attacked
up.
me, actually. But,
Cheat codes.
No, I didn't. I didn't
Sorry.
do shit. I
yeah,
didn't
you did.
touch
Yes. Go in the hole.
it. No.
I tried to get it in there. They should call it every golfer for themselves, right?
Pretty much.
Our quotes on our stream are based off this game. We got random
Yeah,
quotes in
exactly.
here.
Oh yeah, our next quote is gonna be 69, so it's gotta be good.
Yeah. I do notice
Ooh,
every
I
little
have to be a
inch.
legendary.
Oh my
It
god.
has to be by Kimono.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, why that one?
I think that's
Why that one? I don't even remember that one. Oh, yeah. I gotta take a look. Don't! I can't use the bathroom in this outfit. There's too many layers.
You should have put a diaper on, honestly. But
Go with 69. There's not one yet. It's the next one, so it's gotta be good.
I know, that's why I'm saying it has to be by you, in my opinion, because it's your channel.
It has to be pretty amazing. Nobody knocked me in the hole.
Forever ago.
Quote 0. I want to be the very best. There's a 0?
That's the very first quote.
I didn't know there is a 0.
It has no value.
Yeah, zero's the
best.
technical
Zero
first
has-
quote.
what?
So I guess technically we do have 69 quotes.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to have.
Fucking
Zero,
love.
zero is not.
Yeah, I know. 46. There are. Oh, that's where the Pokemon count was. It was in the thing, and now it changed. We found out the other day there's 1021 now.
Yes.
I knew I had seen that command somewhere.
That count was when the game came out.
Oh, 50. Self-love is the
It
It was
best.
before
Day.
the DLC.
Oh no! Well, with it being in golf, that was not an innocent phrase during golf. I can tell you that. Self-love is the best love. Yeah, I'm sure that was
yeah.
not an innocent quote at that time.
Probably not.
Sounds like it now, but it.
Out of context, yes, it is an innocent one, but it was not innocent with context.
I'm innocent. Wrong.
You hit me.
I don't have any balls. Apparently,
You're the one that-
somebody help me.
Ghost.
I don't have any
Ah.
balls.
That actually kind of helped me though.
We need an electric steel type Pokemon that looks like a dragon. That'd be dope. Ooh.
Whoa, what?
Like a knight.
Uh,
Like a night dragon that
One that looks like a
melts
dragon, though.
himself. Electrocutes everything.
what is an electric
Is there
steel
even
Pokemon?
one?
Who touched my balls?
Catch my ball. Oh, right there, 69.
How would is this
Yes, I did.
electric super effective against steel?
Not. I mean, it's a personal problem. I don't like to talk about it, but I don't have any.
Is,
You don't have it?
steel.
Wow, that, wow.
No, I don't.
But isn't typically electric super effective against steel?
Lightning has been caught by KimonoKat.
I don't think so.
Yay!
No, it's water.
Let's go.
The water is
Effective against
not
water.
super effective against.
No,
The
no.
electric is super
I
effective.
feel like I'm
against
going
water,
horse. I don't know. Why? Oh, this has got to be the
I'm
worst.
going to
spot.
the next hole.
Oh, 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 oh! I turned a really bad shot into a good one.
Hey, if you
Where are
don't
we
take a
supposed
shot,
to go?
you never can win.
That's not bad. Ah.
Over the first.
Yeah, not
I
that
don't
one.
know if I asked you this before or not, but which Pokemon would you keep as a pet? Oh, that's a good question.
Skitty.
Like, I was talking about this the other day with somebody. Of course, I love Skitty to death, but
Dang it, the rotate.
I would want a Pokemon that was useful and helpful. Like, I don't know. It's gonna have to be somebody that can, I don't know, do something awesome and amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna say be my slave.
Very much.
might
It's
as
gonna
well
be
be
terrible.
Macho.
I know.
I
That's
still
what I was
want,
thinking was Macho and Macho. The one with the 4 arms, so he can work really hard, make all the dough, so I can play other games.
He can do some.
Just
wait,
kidding.
Azzy, are you sure it's no reason for Lopunny? You sure?
I keep low
Are you
buddy.
closeted furry? It's okay if you are. No judgment.
That's
here.
alright. And then the other half of you would keep, what is it? Vaporeon? Oh.
Ooh.
Oh god.
I love Vaporeon, but that...
Has any of y'all seen the little animation that was done based off that copy?
Oh yeah,
Really
it's
kinda-
cursed.
Oh god.
It's cursed.
It's so cursed. Yeah.
I don't need it.
I'm taking my mind. How's he changed his mind? It's Vaporeon. Oh, what about Arcanine?
Honestly, though, I
Arcanine would be
still keep,
cool.
Absol.
A
It's my
fiery
favorite
cat
Pokemon.
could be
That sounds cute.
helpful. I do love the evolutions, though.
I would love to have an Umbreon.
Mm-hmm.
I think Absol's been my favorite Pokemon since I first.
I want a
played Emerald
dragon.
I thought about Espeon too. It's like, get a psychic Pokemon. They can do some cool stuff. They can help me in life.
Umbreon's definitely been my favorite.
What's a Pokemon?
Even
with a
before I was
dragon?
really
I want a
into-
dragon so I can ride it.
A dragon? Dragonite would be a good one for riding.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride a dragon.
Or Charizard.
Dragonite, there's Charizard. Aerodactyl. Which is
Charizard would scare the
Dinosaur.
crap out of everybody that you brought him near, but Dragonite, everybody'd be like, "Oh, I love your dragon," you know.
I know, like that's how I'm gonna like show up to
Yeah.
the bars.
Like, if I was gonna have a dragon, I would go just full hog and have like Reshiram or something.
Yeah.
Oh dang!
Reshiram or Zekrom, yeah.
I also would want a Gardevoir so I can ride it.
Oh, I do have Reshiram and Zekrom
Thank you.
cards now.
That's bad. That's bad. Shane wants a Gardevoir too. Just kidding.
Wait, what?
I keep multiple huge steel type Pokemon so I could be protected from bullets used by criminals with firearms. That'd be
Charizard's
cool.
only 5'7". I am literally the same height as Charizard.
Wow, I didn't realize
I
that.
can't ride 5 foot, so no.
I didn't realize that, Zilla.
Is that true? Because no.
I want
There's
Yeah.
no way.
Aw, I
I'm
missed the
5'6",
jump.
but like, there's still no way that Charizard
We're gonna
is
go
only
this
taller
way.
than I am.
Oh, that rock's
I
gonna
want a
get in the
dragon I
way.
can ride, so this is not.
You gotta love the weird Pokedex entries.
I play Mazzy. I have returned again. Welcome back, Ryu. What Pokemon would you have as a
Kimono,
pet?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom, Kimono. Yeah, it's gonna be
Multiple
easy.
Aragons, a little. Some Aragons and some Medicurs. No, I'm not gonna go take a leak. Sorry.
No, I am. You know, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be simple. It's gonna be
You know it's bad when I've worked in healthcare so long that I'm happy when people tell me they've used the bathroom.
Yeah, because you're ready for them to go home. Especially if they're mean and grumpy. You're like, yes, and you do a happy dance. Oh, you can go home now.
Don't even get me started on mean and grumpy. Oh my god. I actually got fired out of a patient's room today.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
You know what, Azzy, you were the
Patients just
smartest one here. Azzy
Right,
picked
Shane.
Ditto. He's the smartest one here. Because doesn't Ditto copy their types too?
yeah, I mean that copies the basically becomes the Pokemon in a sense. Like
Yeah,
the type,
yeah.
the
So they can be
move,
anything.
copies everything.
Originally, it wasn't supposed to have a different face, but
So-
since the issue with
The
one
anime
of them,
screwed it up, yeah.
Yeah.
because one Ditto had an issue.
Everything. Azzy, you're the
This is
smartest
now
one here.
common.
Just saying.
Azzy, what are you doing to that poor Ditto?
Ditto or fake Pikachu?
Fake Pikachu is
Everything.
Mimikyu, thank you. Rude.
Yeah, Mimikyu.
I
don't know.
Probably not. To be
I like
fair,
Mimikyu
probably
a
not.
lot. Mimikyu.
Michigan, you're up. How are you,
I know,
Michigan?
I had to go to the bathroom and stuff.
It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Ditto was actually a superior choice. Yeah. Yeah. Azzy wins the Pokemon game. Because you can have any Pokemon you want.
Starter would probably be superior. The snake, the grass snake.
Oh yeah.
So does Ditto have a time limit on how long he can stay transformed? That would be the next question.
In the games, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't seem to.
Just, I mean, for the duration of the battle. Oh god.
Technically, couldn't he transform into a legendary as well? It could be anything he wants. I've never seen him do it, but why can't he? Maybe he can only transform into what he's seen? A Ditto copies a person. Can it speak human languages?
Azzy?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Good question.
I
I
answer
answer the
fancy
calls
way.
from the text.
The ability ends when the battle does in the game, so he only transfers to that. What about in the daycare?
Kid.
What about the daycare cuff? As long as it's around 20-25 seconds, I'm good. Oh my god! That's so wrong! We're talking about being able to fly on Pokemon and ride through the air, and you're talking about other things in the 20-25 seconds.
Can it
Lay
cook?
down.
Oh.
Clean.
Mhm.
That's not something I'd brag about, man.
Maybe it's a challenge, I guess. Oh yeah, back in the ring.
Let me stay here. Let me stay here on the
Let me
bookshelf.
stay here.
No.
Poor
Oh,
Ditto.
here, actually, so.
I mean, is it really poor Ditto? Or are you gonna feel bad for the owner at the end of the day? Let's really think about it. Ditto was in a daycare all his freaking life. Who are you gonna feel bad for? The owner? Who has to put up with him? Or it?
I would just feel bad for the Ditto. If he doesn't get to go outside.
Yeah, but what if the Ditto doesn't want to go outside? What if the Ditto enjoys his life? And you're in trouble because you picked a Ditto.
I want a Pokemon I can play catch with.
What if you're in trouble because Ditto likes the form of Tentacruel the most? Or
I see in like some of the games, like when you're battling like a couple.
We're getting
that has, like,
saucy.
the Cloyster and the Onyx. You ever heard those?
Mhm.
They knew what they were doing. Manfred knew what they were doing.
Yes, they did.
you might want that. Mhm.
Well, next year I'm gonna be Jake from State Farm.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you wear khakis, Jake from State Farm?
I missed what was said.
No, but I
What
can
do I
give a
want?
policy if you want.
You
one.
want a relentless
But I
Ditto.
already have a
Talking
really
about
good State Farm
if
policy.
Ditto
Yeah.
actually enjoyed being in the daycare all his life and you chose him, are you really winning or is the Ditto winning? And Tentacruel Ditto. Or are you in for more than you planned?
I'm so close. No.
So close.
Let-
That's so
Dang it.
far. But in the end, it didn't matter.
In the end, it doesn't
And Tentacruel, isn't Tentacruel electric water? Oh god.
That just seems really weird.
So hell yes.
If I know what it says now, but at first glance, that is not what I read.
What did you think it said?
Tentacruel dildo.
No.
Well, that's a good Pokemon. Yeah, catch
As
them all.
Cleveland from Family Guy would say, oh,
Yeah.
that's nasty.
That's how it may be used.
God.
Oh, who hit me off
Who
the
did
edge?
that? Who did that?
Michigan, you're evil.
It was definitely
Can I
Michigan.
stay here?
'cause I didn't touch
No,
it.
it was a lady.
Oh no, it started
I
me
didn't do
over in a
shit.
different
Why
spot.
would you blame me then?
I don't like this.
That's why.
Went over there. They're just gonna like hit it hard this way. Now where we go?
Well, yeah, you had to.
This
hit it.
way. Let's sucks. I don't want to go this way.
Well, you go next.
No. I'm just making my life worse. Hi. I hate these ramps too.
Yeah, there's just too many books around. Like,
Okay, we found a jar and a corner, and this is our life now, guys.
hey, well, you're
Um,
hiding. This tells you a lot about yourself, right? You're
I
hiding.
don't think I can get out of this spot. I think it's gonna put me right back behind that jar.
It will.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Kimona, this is your stream now for the rest of the stream.
I'm just. Hi. Pinata in a glass jar, anyone? Pinata? In a glass jar, stuck in a corner.
You're in timeout.
Michigan. Is this too many books?
Till somebody saves me.
Turned it off. Hold on. I have to get
6
over
more
that.
seconds. And I don't get to complete this map. Ran out of time.
I'm trying to get to that screen. There it is. Jesus. Yeah. That's a
Shane's winning.
You must own all the Harry Potter books, then, right? That's about the same.
I own 2 full sets of those books. Thank you. I
Yay!
actually own a third copy. I actually own also a third copy of Philosopher's Stone. I have a British copy.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
This is definitely written
Whee!
by Canadians.
When the
And-
25th anniversary of Philosopher's Stone came out, I bought the anniversary
Sure.
edition in a hot
Nice,
minute.
nice.
A wild sandile appeared. Exclamation poke catch to catch the wild sandile.
That's the right hole. Don't know.
They're
I don't
all
know where
right
you went, but you
holes.
definitely went to the wrong one.
Yeah.
They're all right holes.
Not in my line of work, they're not.
I'm
Take
at
that
the
how
right
you
hole.
will.
I'm glad.
So take that how you will.
Started with score buddy. That's a good starter. No. Ah, you heard nothing, Yassi. You heard nothing.
I found the hole after all, though, so it's good.
Is this the right? Dang it.
Well,
It put me right next. Where am I supposed to go?
exactly.
Never mind.
He's also having trouble finding them. Like, come on.
Oh, here it is.
Oh. Left. Oh. Oh gosh.
Nobody's gonna get
How
this
am I
one.
even winning?
Because you are haunted.
Oh, dude. Oh, I messed that up. I'm not winning anymore.
Well, we all are not that good, so.
I'm stuck. No. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go this way this time.
That
Sure.
was a waste.
Spoopy arms. Oh, I hate this thing. There's like no way to like not get a lot of turns here, I don't think. If there is, I don't know.
In the hole. In the hole. No, that's not the hole.
Oh, dang it. I missed
I'm
that.
just glad you didn't hit me. Don't go over the edge. Don't. Oh, that was so close.
Close to the edge. Whatever that song was.
Hurry. What the? Oh, you always sent me to the arrow. Ah, cheese whiz. Cheese
And
whiz.
crackers.
I'm
And
glad.
crackers.
Oh no.
I'm
As-
glad I'm in the hole because there's some bullying.
Fuck you. What the? No! I literally
What is
bounced
going-
over it.
What?
Oh my god.
Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Oh. So, you're telling me I gotta get a swoosh.
Yes. You have to Kobe it.
I figured it out. Go after your opponent so that you knock him down so that your ball stops before his does, and then you can get in the hole.
Honestly, that sounds a lot like my life.
Marin, this is not,
It worked. You got me a T.
Heck yeah.
I still won somehow after all that damage.
Started my.
You don't have enough
But-
wine yet. I think that's the issue.
No, wine helps.
No, I'm just saying more to win more.
Mm-hmm. It helps me win.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
Mm.
saying is
Alright, drawing time.
party time or break time.
Drawing, break time, drawing time, full name time. It is Shane. You get another prize.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you like, Shane? You want more Pokemon cards?
Do you want the whip or the
which I guess I'll take this time another one of those stickers. I already have
Okay.
one, but I'll
Okay.
take another one, I guess.
Okay, because there's different cards in each one of these packs, and I have like 40. So it's up to you.
Yeah.
You want a sticker? Okay.
She's
Yeah, I
gonna
was
open
taking
all
that
of them
sticker.
afterwards.
Yeah, I get to have a card opening stream with ones you guys don't win.
It's like, apparently nobody's entering. I don't know what happened.
Ta-da! Ready? Ready, 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 ready. Doing a drawing!
No whammy, don't worry.
Let's see. Who is it? It is Azzy! Which one do you want, Azzy?
Azzy. Oi, oi, oi.
It paid off. Which one do you want? Stickers or Pokemon cards? There's 3 in a pack. Sticker, please. Okay, got you.
Or a leash, because apparently that has
Or a leash? No, no, that's the secret prize at the end of the stream.
to. Oh yeah, that's late. Reward.
No, there's a special giveaway at the end that I haven't announced yet.
Okay.
Ah, leash.
Yeah,
You
exactly,
would. Alright, here we go. It is Michigan!
Oh, the leash. No.
No. One of these three things.
I'll
Can
take
you-
Pokemon cards.
Like-
So
Pokemon cards.
I
Alright.
get the best ones. That'd be funny.
Poke cards,
Alright,
okay.
I got the best ones.
Poke cards. Got it.
Well, I'm not gonna poke the cards. I just want Pokemon.
Hey Mona, if we've already won like 2 things, do we still
We're out.
are we still able to enter the secret surprise drawing or whatever?
Oh, true.
You know, that's a good question because no, your ticket
Well,
won't be in the
Put us
bucket.
all back in. I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, 'cause
surprise.
Well, if I do that, then I have to make sure. I can do that as long as I make sure everybody's prize is wrote on the back of their sticker.
Yeah,
I can do
think
that.
would be a good
Okay.
idea, though. Everybody can re-enter on the
Because I've been writing everybody's prize on their ticket. I mean,
Mm.
so I have them like in a nice little stack, organized with what you got.
Well, obviously up to you.
Smart, yeah. Yeah, it's like right here, stacked with the ticket, what they won, and the items. I hear myself.
You hear yourself.
I think it's rain.
What?
Alright,
Edition?
to be honest, I wish you had plushies or minifigures as prizes. That would be cool. Maybe I'll do that coming up. Maybe we'll see. That was a personalized Gollum impression. Murmur, murmur. Nice. Oh, my piercings. Okay. Alright. Prize is Ryu! You won! What would you like, Ryu?
Get to get whipped or no, just kidding.
Oh, I gotta get more cards out of the pack. Reach!
You can get whipped or you get a sticker, whatever you want.
As I said, that's my piercings about the least. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Started some.
But yeah, Ryu, if you're lurking and listening, you get to pick a prize. I'll give you till I come back. I'm gonna take a quick break, guys. Well, I say quick, but
Get up, stretch your legs.
yeah,
It's alright, Momo. Kimono can't read.
I
Well,
can't.
I can't read.
Precious, not piercings. Oh no. My mind went all over the place.
Anyways, Dr. Jim said everybody should get up and stretch.
Yes, yes. And if Ryu comes back, you guys can ask her what prize she wants
Dr. Jim over here.
while I step away. Because it's gonna take me a hot minute because I actually do have to use the ladies' room now. I blame Michigan, that's his fault.
What? First of all, you're not
Yep.
putting you in that costume.
And then we'll play some evil incarnated on the next map.
Oh god.
Yes, you know it. So I'll be back, guys. I'll be back soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be about
Stay
2
tuned.
hours, guys. So let's talk.
You and Sana both give off incredibly amazing vibes. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, well, 2 hours we got, guys. So let's work. Anyways, next year I'm gonna be Jake from State Farm. Sean, you're gonna be Jimmy, whatever his name was. Lady will be Loki. Pomona will be probably just a T-shirt, so so she can go to the bathroom.
Trying to figure out like a good narration voice.
I don't know.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak
You
and
trying
weary,
to seduce me?
over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping
Knocking.
at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered,
Or
tapping
whacking.
at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more.
Well, dinner first, but yeah.
I'll never beat Vincent Price trying to read this.
Yeah,
but
I don't have a voice, so I can't necessarily say what is or what.
like there's a video on YouTube of Vincent Price reading this. It is so good.
Well, you have to go to like one of the reading book thingies or whatever you call them, where people read books or book club. There's what it is.
What was that for, Rain?
I'm sitting here reading.
Oh, it's like you just flipped me off. Like, what the hell?
It was like-
No, it was
You-
it was for Michigan.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
that's normal. It's not like
Oh.
he wakes up just flicking me off like.
That is definitely what I do,
Distinctly,
Momo.
I remember. It was in the bleak December,
It was
and
the
each
best of
separate
times.
dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a crease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore.
Okay, you betted me. Let's go.
Oh God, that was not my intention. Ugh.
Well, now intention, maybe more. Sorry, I'm just being me.
That's the scary part.
Ooh, hey, Halloween. I hope Kimono can actually be able to go that.
She could be changing into something more comfortable too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about her peeing situation for about an hour.
I imagine she still has her earbud in too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was about to
I
say, she
know.
could
That's
probably
why I
still
say
hear us.
things like this. This is why I say it. That's what you need. You gotta make a poem about her in the darkest days. Kimono had to.
Oh.
Uh,
I think
Oh,
I heard her.
something.
she's farting.
I did too.
I heard a little bit of a cough.
In the
Heard
darkest
a
days.
little laugh, I think, there.
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, well, never mind.
I laugh. I hear you talking about me.
I know. I knew.
You
That's
and your
why I
darkest days and such.
darkest days.
Were my narration
Finally
skills
made it to a live stream. What's going on? Welcome. Welcome, TV. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Konnichiwa.
What?
Amoro. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Ooh, a wild, unidentified Pokemon, guys. You know how this works? Exclamation poke catch. And the type will be revealed after you catch it. This ball type doesn't exist.
Go lay down.
I'm so confused. Why do I have an Azzy ticket floating here? Azzy won something earlier. Azzy, what was the thing you won? Okay, I'm double checking these stickers flying us right now. That was the sticker. Oh, I bet it fell out when I picked them all up earlier. It was the thingamajig. I know what it was. It was the card. It's all good though. I'm checking them right now so they can all go back in the bucket. Because we're going to do this special drawing after this round of golf. Just making sure everybody's stuff is labeled. Good. Alright. So everybody's tickets are going back in the bucket for the special drawing.
So this is a surprise.
Yeah,
I
but we're not
tried
going to do it yet.
By the way,
Oh.
the mysterious ghost thing was a stunky.
The stunky! Well, that's stunky.
The surprise is Kimono will get a tattoo of your name. Just kidding.
What? What?
Nothing.
No! Maybe
Right on the forehead.
a temporary tattoo. Does it last like a week or whatever? The ink ones?
No, it has to be real because you have to be committed to the stream.
No.
Sorry.
It would have to be a Pokemon or something.
Were my narration skills up to snuff?
Yes.
Well, you're better than me, so.
Yes, I heard.
Well, I have to keep saying it because.
It's Rain and Momo caught the skunky. Thoughts on Ratatat? He's like Pidgey, annoying, but there for a reason. For grinding. Just like Pidgey.
What?
It's like Eradicate can be pretty scary looking. But from playing Pokemon Go too much, I feel like Ratatat's comparable to Pidgey. Because I feel like you run into Ratatat in the old games as much as you run into Pidgey in Pokemon Go. Grinding fuel. That's what he is.
Sorry.
Not that kind of grinding, Michigan.
What? Do we
Oops.
feel for that? Do we?
Ratatat. Need what? Why didn't that take? Oh, are you not supposed to go down the hole? Oh, you're not supposed to go down.
I don't.
I went down the hole on purpose. I didn't know
Wow.
that.
The thing is, that's the wrong hole.
Don't fall off, don't fall off, don't fall
I
off.
just jumped the ledge.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
From the starting point, you just jumped all the way over there?
No, just go a little bit forward and then line yourself up with the flag and then jump. In a sense. Just go forward a little bit. There we go. And then you can jump. Not that, but you can.
No!
This works too, I guess. If you
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work at all.
Don't jump there, just jump when you line up.
Okay.
Like right here.
So here. And then you gotta try to line up with one of those beams or just jump all the way over there and hope for the
Just
best.
jump. I don't know exactly your angle, but just.
You don't know how much? How many bars?
Nah, I did it drunkly, so I don't know. See, that's the idea. Once you see it, it's up to you.
Pip. Wickermail, welcome!
I got it in 2 just by doing this.
Let's see. Not that much. Let's try 2 bars. 2 is too much. 2 is too much. Is everybody else already in the hole?
The person in front of you isn't.
Oh, is that Lady Rain?
I
ran out of time.
I was in that hole for a very long.
No, I was already in the hole. It's just bugged.
I know. I was reading a book in the hole. That.
I think 2 candy bars is fine. Candy bars? It's Paragon! You changed your name! Welcome, Paragon. I was like,
Dang it.
Wickermail. I was like, I don't know that name, but it doesn't say you're a first-time visitor. And I was like, who is that?
Dang
Welcome, Paragon.
I hate this hole.
Welcome.
Such a cock block.
Paragon wing,
it.
right?
Though? Some.
Well, not that much heat. Not that much heat. Don't do it. Okay. Oh,
Well, it'd be
no.
nice if I could. There we go.
Honestly,
2 bars
if
is
we
too
go
much.
first,
Oh!
you know, we have to
Yes.
go
Sweet.
together.
How are you doing? I hope you're doing awesome.
Left.
I think last time I talked to you was I caught one of your short streams. Love the outfit. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. Thank
You will
you.
clean your house for $9.99.
You're never gonna win at this rate. I'm not
So you mean the
either.
the second tier sub is how she'll clean? No, I think it should be a third tier sub.
What? Third tier sub? Oh my god, okay, skipped away. Like I said, you cannot clean with these sleeves. Just saying. These
No, I'm just
sleeves
saying
will
if the house is
become
clean.
the cleaning utensil.
No. If the house is clean,
The sleeves
you
would
wouldn't
have
worry
to
about it
go
getting dirty.
to be able to clean.
No. Like I said, if the house was clean, you wouldn't have to worry about getting dirty when you clean it.
This is true. You could just like pretend to clean. Some 2 bars
Brain
is
don't
too
work,
much, but
so.
others it's not enough. Wait, what are we talking about? Oh no. I think we're talking about knees now. Half a knees and senpais. 2 senpais, 3 senpais. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some hard math. That's,
I give up. Somebody help me. Somebody save me. I'm just gonna like eat myself over there.
I mean, I yeeted myself about 1,000 times.
How are you guys just sitting there? You made it, and you're not going in the hole. Are you just waiting for me to? And you ran out of time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, we ran out of time. I was wondering why I was sitting there.
Y'all were sitting there waiting and ran
I
out
was
of
sitting here
time.
laughing at you.
Oh my god! Y'all were waiting to like yeet me off there as soon as I got over there.
No, we
Yeah.
ran out of time and it stayed.
But yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome. If you're familiar with my dress up darling, I'm Suzuki-tan, as Marin plays Suzuki-tan in my dress up darling.
And
That's
you're
what my
made.
cosplay is. Yeah. Michigan. Go.
What?
Show me the right way to go. Actually, I think the right way to go on this one, somebody is just like eats.
Yeah, I know.
This
I
way.
used to be able to, but my brain don't work.
Oh, I did it.
I used to do
Okay.
that. I don't know why I just stopped it.
Now this part though, forget it. This part I screwed.
No, this part you just have to Kobe it like I did. It was a Kobe.
Alright.
Cold beef.
You have to believe in
And then you
yourself.
have to like, I have to be in the
Believe
right
in yourself. Lady believes in
place.
herself.
She did, and
The
she
hard
won.
parts.
Your luck, honestly.
No, exactly. I
Believe
believe in
it.
myself, and I got luck. She don't
No!
believe in herself.
Hey, I hope to stay longer next live stream. 3 a.m. work. Super cute cosplay kimono. Thank you. But yeah, I'll show you guys real quick. If you can stand up.
Anyways,
But yeah,
I
this is like
I
the whole
had
thing.
fun.
It's cute. It's fluffy. Super fluffy. But I love it. If you know Suzuki-tan, then you know the costume we're wearing. I can't wait for the next season to come out of that show though.
I love the
I'm so
hair.
excited. The hair? I'm not used to having purple hair. It makes my eyes pop out more blue.
That's even.
But-
You had- Well, not that color, but you had purple hair at one point, didn't you?
I did have purple hair. It's just been a long time. I had purple hair years ago. Had every color.
Anyways,
Like, oh yeah, I finally made it.
I
Oh my god, I know, right? KimonoKat can't wait.
$1,000.
I can't wait either. But good to see you, Chibi. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was Zero inspired. Oh, really? No, yeah, no. It's My Dress Up Darling. Yeah, Marin plays Suzuki-tan because she's a fan of this another anime series, and so she cosplays in the anime, and that's what she does. She cosplays, and this is one of the characters she cosplays as. Yeah, it's anime Inception. Yeah.
But like,
Oh, you know what? I hope if I actually show you guys what I'm playing. Oh my All I did on the.
I should have been there to help, but I wasn't.
Hi, everybody hanging out in the hole. I want to hang out in the hole.
I know.
Well, you're welcome in. Just get... it's cool.
Finally. 8 strokes later.
Hey, that's what he said.
Also, I didn't know your hair was purple. I
Alright,
thought it was black. Yeah, it does look pretty black in here. I think it's because Steve more light in
That's
here.
not the best, is it?
But it is definitely. I don't know. If I put the light like right up to me, then you'll see it's purple.
Black.
And I'll post photos later so you can tell. But
Mono with black hair, I think that would be good. Okay. Get black
that
hair.
is like the only color I haven't had. I've dyed my hair every other color.
I personally think Mono does not have the complexion to have black hair.
No, it would make like.
And I mean that lovingly.
Makes the
Yeah.
eyes better.
I mean, red looks good on me, but that's
Mhm.
different. It makes my eyes pop, but I don't know.
Well, I have blonde hair, so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a dark
No,
Yeah,
purple.
so blonde it doesn't exist.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
colorblind.
dark. Ah.
I used to have blonde hair when I was little.
Yeah,
It's very common for it to darken up as people get older.
yeah. Mine's been
interesting.
dark for so long that it's.
There we go.
It's
Mine's
taken-
actually lightened up a little
7
bit compared to when I was a
strokes.
kid. My hair was close to black when I was a kid.
I don't like my black
I'm improving.
hair
Just
is taking my
bottom.
soul. I think. That's what it is.
Actually, I have a little one of
How
my
many-
grandmas. She used to have red hair before it. She got old and it turned.
How many
gray.
yeasts is
But
this?
I have like some of the red from that in my beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeasts
Yeah,
and
yeah.
senpais.
I don't know. I just have.
Where's
natural
Splints?
red
I
highlights
just
in my
have
hair.
black. He went to go bed. He has to
Ah.
work tomorrow.
I gotta work tomorrow.
Michigan,
Yeah,
we're getting
but-
paddled.
He's also doing what I'm trying to do right now.
Oh,
And
see.
Oh, okay.
I need you to move.
So he's being smart and we're being crazy.
I don't like. I've been.
How are you supposed to go through? Like, you're only supposed to go through one of those? I don't even know what happened.
Anyways, I went
How
to
did
a
I do
hole,
that?
and I hope it's the right angle. But...
It's not where I wanted to go.
I don't know how I did that, but I'll take it.
Oh, I followed
Close.
you.
It's this one. No! Dang it.
This is like real life, trying to like find the whole journey and adventure.
Michigan, what are we talking about?
Oh, golf.
Okay, just checking.
No.
Speaking
golf.
of Rat-a-tat, would you own one as a pet? I mean, a lot of people own rats as pets, and they're like super nice or super cool. I would be allergic, probably. Might look.
Yeah. You're
But,
allergic,
'cause-
yeah.
Like, yeah, any kind of rat-like animal. Like, I had a pet flying squirrel once, a little tiny one, and I ended up having to give it away because it was too much for me. It'd take my breath away when I cleaned its tank.
Take my breath.
Its
Isn't that a
cage or
song?
wody
Shoot.
Take my breath away.
Yeah, that's the song. Sorry. Couldn't-
But if you weren't allergic, I think it'd be a pretty cool pet, honestly. Almost any Pokemon could be a pretty cool pet, though.
Like I said, dragon.
I definitely would love a Skitty. Just because it's a cat, and it's my favorite. Wooloo! Oh my god, Wooloo would be so much cute. So cute, but a lot of grooming. I could see people taking Wooloos as pets with them everywhere, you know, with the little emotional support animal collars. Like, yeah, this is my emotional support animal. It's a Wooloo. Also serves as a pillow. Not wheezing or ghastly? No, yeah, they'd probably smell for babies.
You be nice about Ghastly. He's cute.
Ghastly
Weezing might
is cute.
smell, but
Ghastly might stink. Ghastly
I
might
think
smell
Ghastly would
gassy.
stink. Ghastly
Azrael!
just a ghost.
Adorable little blue baby. Looks like a blueberry. I mean-
Peekaboo.
Ghastly is a gas ball.
In the day.
He might be a ghost, but he's a ball of gas, right?
No. It's just a ghost.
Go okay.
Or there's only 9 holes here. I've got, yeah.
Oh god, this is the one where I start dying.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
The tentacle waxing.
I just got yeeted
Whoa,
into
that sounds
space.
special.
Watch out for the tentacles!
I just got
very
yeeted
sexual.
into space.
No, 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 no. Oh, gosh. Thoughts on Houndor? Oh, yes! Big
These
doggo.
logs are too hard. I need
Big
to do it.
guard doggo. Nobody would ever mess with you
Yeah,
if you had a Houndor. Or a Houndoom. Oh, God. Nobody would ever mess with
That's
you.
not where I wanted.
How life works.
No. Okay, is this where I want to be? I think so.
Is this where I want to be?
I think so. I don't think anything wants to kill me right there in that spot. I found the sweet spot. And I made it in. I think this is the first time I've ever made it in the hole on that map, just to be real.
Whoa, really impressive.
Continuously
Don't stop
plowed by wood over here. Oh my god, Lassie. You set me up for that. Houndoom is the evolution. Evolved form, by the way. Yes. Houndour turns into Houndoom with the big horns.
10 behind. Well, let's do it.
Let's see. Oh.
That's too much.
This one just doesn't make sense for me. This map doesn't make any. Oh, the tentacles have eyes on them, by the way.
Eyes or suckers? Or...
No, they're looking at me. I'm pretty sure they're looking at me.
I think you're just very judgmental.
And now I'm rolling backwards.
Damn it.
I know, I suck at this one. I'm just hoping I can make it.
Oh. No.
Make it
Thoughts on Venusaur? Venusaur's pretty wild. I don't think I would want to own one of those. I'd be like afraid that it would eat me alive. Night time for you. Good night, Momo. Sweet dreams. Get some sleep, lovely.
Take care.
Can I stay here? Can I sit here?
No.
Whoa.
No.
Yes, that'll work.
I don't think you can make it up without going down.
Nah, shit.
This course is telling me about my life.
Have a great stream, KimonoKat. Chat lovelies. Okay, Momo. Thank you. Good night. Yes.
You're gonna miss.
Take your little haunter skeletons to bed with you.
How did I fall off?
I don't know. This is a trap, though.
Oh my god.
I know, I made it up.
Mono?
Hi. I just wanted to play. Yeah,
worked
something.
really hard to get there, alright?
I was gonna. I just wanted to. I'm not gonna say all the words that are coming into my head. I'm gonna shut up.
Whoa,
Just wanted to touch my ball. I get it.
Yes.
This is a Christian.
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't like this.
Dang it.
Just wanted to. I wasn't gonna hurt you. Just wanted to. Not much.
I just wanted to buy you some candy.
I don't even remember how you.
Oh yeah, this one I don't. Oh, you're gonna go over
I actually
there.
got a hole in one on this at one point. I don't know.
You gotta get up high in order to go over there, right?
Trust me, I can't do it now.
Legendary.
Hi,
Dang
Blaze!
it, Azzy.
Welcome, 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 welcome!
I suck at this.
Alright. Oh god. It scared me. Why did that scare me so bad? Why did that scare me so bad? I don't know. Now I messed up. I didn't jump high enough. So, Sorry, I think you could still get to it from here.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Stop,
We'll go Raiders!
Stop. Okay.
There's Mono. You scared me!
No. Oh,
Okay, I think I gotta go over there. I think Michigan has the right idea.
dang it.
I have the right idea, but I'm not.
Ah!
Like, I'm trying to get.
Oh,
all
hi!
trick,
It's either too much or not enough.
but I can't hit the kimono's ball is in the way.
I keep moving out of the way, it's just not working.
Oh, last.
I won't come over here and hang out with Azzy.
think-
Oh, now I went too far.
Guys,
I don't know what to
very
do.
Last shot.
I have right ideas, but they never work.
I think I messed up.
Does that make it?
I don't think I can get over there from here.
Yeah. My idea was sound, but don't listen to me.
Oh, that was closer. James, drink water.
Dude, watchers are humans.
Trying to figure it out. No! I'm on the outside! Ran out of time!
On the outside.
Drink water, okay. Water.
Vodka.
The wiener.
I am.
Posture check. Okay. Feet on the floor. Sit up straight.
Monster
Got you.
Steady.
Got you.
These weak arms are heavy. Arms forget now.
Stretch.
The maid is
Oh.
ready.
Alright, you ready to do this? Are you ready?
Yeah. If you don't pick my name, I'm gonna cry. So I'm just like.
Okay.
What's
Alright.
the secret, Mona?
The secret prize. I'm going to keep watching the stream and hang out, but I'm going to place Dead by Daylight. Okay. Alright, we're doing the final giveaway. But thank you, Azzy. Appreciated. Final giveaway is for a date with Shane. No, I'm just kidding.
What? No, just kidding.
No, of course, Shane.
I'm like, excuse me?
They're just casually trying to set you up with someone. It's fine.
Yes.
Hey, look at me.
That was pretty slick, pretty quick. No, it's for some KimonoKat merch, either a cup or a T-shirt, your choice. Whoever wins can pick out a cup or a T-shirt from my merch store. But you gotta win first, and you can pick it out.
Money, big
And
money.
yeah, it doesn't have to be KimonoKat branded. It can be anything in my store,
Ooh.
a
Anyways,
mug or a shirt. So, all right, here we go. Who's the winner? Shake it. Winner is it's Shane. Shane, you won! Congratulations.
you have
I
a
think
date
He
it's
won a
totally
date
rigged,
with
because I'm pretty sure
himself.
he is the mod with the most mono shirt, merch.
Probably.
did it with
Send one.
yourself.
What's going on? Hello. Happy Halloween, Sidwin.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
you're
just
right
let me know,
on
Shane.
one.
Pick something out. Just let me know.
Okay.
Get with
well.
me, dear me.
Completely rigged.
It is 100%.
It was.
Now
It was
he has
100%
a
rigged.
date- Now he has.
He has a date with himself and he has merchandise. He won the prize.
Well, I don't know if you're left or right-handed. But that's
Self love is the best love. Treat yourself good. I'm okay for the most part. I'm glad Sid won. Welcome. We played some golf with friends tonight, and of course, I dressed up as Suzuki Tien from mydressupdarling, as Marin cosplays
or
Suzuki
or
Tien.
maid.
or Tan. Suzuki Tan. If I say it
The
right,
people that
you
don't
get reprimanded.
watch,
Words are hard.
the people that don't watch anime, he dressed up as a maid.
Yes, I'm a maid, but a very specific maid.
Mona, this
You can walk
dragon
this maid.
design on your store, did you make this?
That one I didn't draw in particular. No.
Oh. That's pretty damn cool, actually.
I paid somebody to draw it for me,
Oh.
so I bought it.
But yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
just
it is cool.
that's my real name.
Well, I have drawn it, but I didn't draw that one.
J-
I would have been in your other streams, but I was tied up with something. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you being here, making it French maid, to be exact. Yes. I appreciate you
sorry.
being here. No worries,
Oh,
no
sorry.
worries. What were you saying, Michigan?
No, sorry, I was telling Jay that I'm from
Oh,
Toronto
Jay's here.
and I'm Jim.
Hi, Jay. Oh yeah, Jim. I got your name wrong. Dang it! You're not supposed to answer when I say Michigan. You're only supposed to answer when I say Jay.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
Jim.
yeah. Well, I originally lived in Maine, and now I'm in Toronto.
Ah, so you go by Jim, aka Michigan.
Sorry for the.
I see the
late
Ghost TV
arrival.
was completed while I was set up. It's really not complete. It's really not. I still have some more work on it. I was hoping to get it done, so it's not done yet. I want to do some more details on it. So
I got it.
it could be considered done, but I want to do more stuff to it. So I'll definitely be back to painting Ghost TV. It's not done. You'll get to see that some more. Have you ever attended any cons? I have. I've attended a couple cons. They're fun. I cosplayed at one on two. I did a, oh gosh, now what is the name? I'm gonna like, why is my head? It's been so long.
No, you have no blood going to your brain.
My brain is messed up. No.
My cat.
So I want to see the outcome for the Eevee painting through. Do it!
Kimono, you see the pit.
Oh, they were in Florida.
You see Jay right now.
Yes. Let me see. Oh yes, stickers.
Yep, I got him.
Oh! I did a My Hero Academia one, and I did a Comic-Con one in Orlando.
I'm gonna be putting those up.
Oh, the name
workshop.
outcome?
Nice.
The name outcome was... We didn't pick a name yet. Oh, that's right, we were gonna pick a name tonight. We were gonna officially name Eevee, but we didn't finish Eevee, so we didn't name Eevee.
That's right.
Yeah. I was gonna finish Eevee. So let's wait on naming it until it's finished, and then I'll let you guys vote on it. We'll do like a poll and have everybody official vote. I don't think it's fair to do it without it being complete, and give us some more time to think about it.
Honestly, this is
So-
my favorite pitch. You did very well in this part.
I know what I want it to be named. What do you want it to be named? And if you guys want to know what painting we're talking about the Ghost Evolution form of Eevee.
I'm gonna name it Jim. Jim the animal.
It has to be named Used Brick. Was super effective? No. Can't be named that.
Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite painting right here.
That's
one.
nice.
Oh, it's mine too. Out of all the Pokemon ones I've
Very
done.
beautiful and very detailed. And
Yeah, I put a lot of time and detail into it. But I don't consider it done yet. I want to do some more details. I'm loving it too much.
Well, you're evolving. It's like a Pokemon.
Yeah. So the one I said sounded like a sea in Eastern Europe. Nice.
That's a
cool sounding name for it. Oh, what do you have? Spectreon. Oh, that's pretty cool. We can add it to the list. I wonder if I have the list. I think I can access the list from here. Hold on. Let me access the list.
I didn't know you had your leash on. Sorry.
Yeah, I do. Rain took me out for a walk. Remember? I had to go.
Yeah.
Well,
so I had to go. So Rain took me out for a walk.
Who needs a bathroom when you can have a leash?
Let's see. Text. EV names. Here it is. Here were the names we came up with so far. Oh, there's also Sharpedo, guys. Let's add that to the list. Properties. Spectreon. There we go. And then, I mean, Catman should Call it Brian after Brian Griffin from Family Guy. No, not the Ghost Eevee. Typically most Eevee, I think all Eevee evolutions end in Eon. So to stick with the family, it would have to end as an Eon, I think. That would be my opinion. But Sharpedo escaped and no one caught it. It's just like a shark. So, but yeah, think about it, guys. Think about it. But yeah, once I paint it, I need to make it like an official. I think I'm gonna do like one of those poll things where I can post it in Discord and tweet it, and I don't know. I don't know if I want everybody voting for it. Maybe I'll just like make it and post it for stream. Like only streamers get the link to vote. I mean, not streamers, but viewers of my stream. You actually have to show up to stream to vote. I think that would be best. That way, like, not the whole Twitter universe is voting that didn't ever come to my stream and hear the conversations and watch the painting. I'd rather be you guys voting that are actually here and involved in it and get to see it. But you guys are awesome. But yes, we added Spectreon. I hope I spelled it right. Yes. And if you guys have any other names, let me know. Let me know. And thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you guys had a really good Halloween. I hope I at least gave you some form of entertainment on a Tuesday night for Halloween, because yeah, I have to go back to work tomorrow morning. Blech. Who wants to get back to work tomorrow? Not I. Butreon, you too.
Oh.
You did, thank you. I'm glad.
I'm actually gonna be off tomorrow, thank God.
Oh, you're off? That's good. You deserve it. You work so many days. You
That's
work weekends and
awesome,
stuff too.
Tomorrow's scary after Halloween. There's just a lot of people on the ground.
Butreon. Ooh. I'm happy I got to watch your stream. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you guys got to be here and hang out. And I will post more photos online of my cosplay when I get a chance, because I have a lot of people to be thankful for to help me get this cosplay. They helped contributed to it through my Ko-fi account, and I want to make sure I take photos and share with everyone, because I don't know that they all got to visit and watch tonight, so I want to make sure I do that for you guys. But I love it, I love it, I love it. Alright, chat. Shane, Rain, Jay, Michigan. Jim, Jim.
Yeah, who's Michigan? What a loser. Anyways, chat, I love you guys, and just keep being chat.
Keep being chat? Oh, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. Okay, I think that's it though for me tonight. Unfortunately, I do have to work. We could. Let's see. Do we want to raid somebody tonight? It is Halloween. We should raid somebody. Oh yeah, I know who we're raiding.
Casper.
No. Somebody playing Phasmo. So, sounds appropriate. I'm happy I got to watch your stream. I'm glad. Well then, you guys can join me for this raid if you wish. If you need to sleep, I understand. Jamie Wavy is awesome. Very kind, very sweet person. She's playing Phasmo. We can go raid her and say hi. Here are the raid. The cookies are brilliant! If you don't have my emotes, you can use that one. Those are global emotes. And if you do have my emotes, you can use that one. And we will go say hi to Jamie. We'll see how scared she is. This game brings me. Oh, she got a little bunny ears on, a little bunny face. So cute. cute. Yep. She has a very concerned look on her face, though. I think she's
Like she's scared.
yeah, like she's playing Phasmo or something. Yeah, that game scared the crap out of me. I played it for the first time this month.
It doesn't ever scare me. Anyway.
Mono Crew, here we come! Yeah. Woo! Hype. Oh, I should copy and paste too. Copy and paste, guys. Join me in this raid, and we will go say hi to Jamie Wavy.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You were awesome. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you and your support. Okay. Alright, Lady Rain. Bye, everyone. Good night. Love your faces.
Adios.
Bye.